Welcome back to my channel. Today is my father's birthday and I decided to come here and talk to you guys about my father. I have an amazing father, guys. I have an amazing dad and I just want to eulogize him today, being his special day. My father is, I don't know the word, he's a kind man, and this is not a cliche. I'll just tell you guys a few things about my growing up and how my father impacted my life. Right, so I remember back then when I was young, when I was still probably in primary school, my siblings and I remember I have 3 sisters, so we are 4 girls. I remember my father took us to go and make our hair in the market. People were just staring at my father. People, is this man that took his children to the market to go and make their hair? People just kept staring at him in admiration. It's not a common phenomenon. It's not something we see all the time, even up till now. It was back in the 90s and my father did this, and anytime I remember it, it just warms my heart because my father was very, very hands-on in our upbringing. He was there. It wasn't all about bringing out money or just paying school fees. He was involved from beginning to end. He was involved. As an undergraduate, when I got admission in a university, my father went out one day and came back and told me that he has gotten an accommodation for me. And I'm like, you've gotten an accommodation for me? He said yes, that he went to a town that is close to where my uni is and he decided to branch and he just started looking for house for me and he found one and that he has made a deposit. And I was just staring at this man. I mean, who, as in, my father is so kind because even as a young adult, my father still took it upon himself to do a lot of things for us. These are things our peers did by themselves, and then I remember we used to frown at it. We used to frown at some of those things my dad did for us because we're like, ah, Daddy, we are grown-ups now, allow us to do some of these things. But looking back now, I understand. So he told me he has gotten a house for me, he has found an accommodation for me, and that was the house I got to live in for my first year in the university. When I was going back to school, of course, he was the one that took me back to school. He took me back to school. In fact, my father was visiting me in school like I was in secondary school. You know how when your child enters JSS1 for the first time and you feel that, oh, that's their first time of leaving home, so you're always going to check up on their child. That was how my dad was checking up on me as a year 1 student in the university. He would always pass by, he would always come just to check up on his daughter, just to know how I'm faring. And mind you, I was a boarding student in secondary school, so it's not as if that was my first time of being away from home, and it's not as if I was the first one that was entering the university. I have an elder brother that was already an undergraduate, so it wasn't as if, but that is my dad for you. When we are about to round up the semester, my father will call and offer to come and bring me back home. It's one thing that my father takes me back to school every time I'm going back to school, and then when school closes, instead of me to enter buses like my fellow students, like how other people do, my dad will opt to come and pick me from school. And he also did that for my brother till my brother wanted him to stop doing it. You know, when you're young, you want to feel among, you want to be like your peers, you know, and then it's very unusual to see a father taking back the child to school and then coming to pick the child again as if we were still in secondary school. So this was what my father was doing. But for someone like me, I didn't complain because, guys, I love comfort. So whatever he volunteered, I said, Daddy, please come. Some of my friends that also lived in the same location with me will hop in the car and we will go home. He goes the extra mile for his children, and I'm not the only one. My siblings can also testify to this. Another one. When it was time for NYSC, I was posted to Katsina. You can imagine. I was posted to Katsina for my NYSC. My father was so restless. He was so uncomfortable. He was like, Katsina is too far. This one, that one. My father offered to take me to NYSC camp. And mind you, my dad, first of all, he likes driving and he likes driving long distance. But even at that, And we were living in the east. As at then, we were living in Anambra. My father offered to take me back to NYSC camp. I said, no, Dad, no. No, Dad, you can't do this. Do you know how many hours we are going to be on the road? No. That will be such a long journey. Father, don't worry, I'll be fine. He was like, are you sure? I said yes. That's how I embarked on my NYSC journey. But the good thing is that I have an uncle here in Abuja, so I first came to Abuja. That was how I shortened my journey. I first came to Abuja and I spent some days in Abuja before I continued to the NYSC camp. My father kept following me up with phone calls. He would call to know how I'm doing, how I'm adapting. But this man did not rest. He said, no, my daughter cannot serve in Katsina. Katsina is too far. I need her closer. I need her to be in Abuja, because then my sister was already serving in Abuja as well. So my dad worked my redeployment. On his own, he worked my redeployment, and they deployed me from Katsina back to Abuja. So I spent only the compulsory 3 weeks in Katsina. That's the compulsory 3 weeks that is done in camp. That was when my dad became comfortable. The December of that same year, of that my service year, we were to travel home for the Christmas, and my dad, in his usual way, he called us. He said that he knows that the road will be busy. He doesn't want us to enter public transport, that he will come and bring us back home. I mean, my father will carry his car, drive all the way from Anambra, empty, come to Abuja to come and pick his 2 lovely daughters, but to come and take us back home just to go and spend the Christmas. I mean, is it not mind-blowing, guys? As in, now that, in fact, I'm just remembering so many things my dad did for us, and when I look back now, I'm like, God, I wish I would want to be like him and more to my own children. He came to Abuja, he carried my sister, and in fact, when he came, we even had to go shopping, because my dad is very, very domesticated. His eyes are on the ground. If he's in Igbo, they say Anya Lulu Madwana. Like, he pays attention to details. So when he came to pick us up, we went to a village market. There is a market called Orange Market in Abuja. I went to the market. My dad speaks Hausa very well because he was born and brought up in the north. So we went to the market, we shopped yam, vegetables, beans, and all these things that you can get very cheap in the north. Basket of tomatoes. That's how we shopped, and we journeyed back home. Father, how many can I recount? Or is it when I was about to wed? Hey guys, when I was about to wed, my dad was like my errand boy. There was nothing I wanted or I needed to be done that I didn't beckon on my dad and he would sort it out. He was my go-to person because I didn't have anybody that could run around for me. My father told me, my daughter, whatever you want, just mention it and it will be done. I mean, and it's not as if he was, when I was getting married, my father was already in his 60s. But this man was running errands for me joyfully, cheerfully, without force. When I needed my transcript from my university, my father, he was the one I called. He went to my uni, sorted my transcript, in fact, and brought it back home for me. Oh my God, father, daddy, God bless you. My father is that kind of father that when he has money, hey, it's enjoyment for everybody. It's enjoyment. Then he'll be taking us to school in the morning. We will enter the supermarket. He will buy different things. My mom is only giving you one drink, maybe a Capri Sun and a biscuit. My father will buy wafers. He will buy Smarties. He will buy every and give us to take to school. As in, God, I have lots of beautiful memories with my dad. We created so much memories. We used to hang out with my dad at Blake's. We will sit down, we will order nkwobi, we will order catfish, point and kill, we will order isiewu, and we will just be there enjoying the live music. And people got to know us. Like, they always know that there is this man that comes with his children, 3 of us, me and my 2 younger ones. When gardens, we are still the in thing in Abuja. Today we are going to one garden when maybe a friend of his has told him that their point and kill there is very, very delicious. My father will take us there, we'll go and eat fish. The next day we are going to another place in Zone 5 to go and eat fish. Another weekend again. This we are usually on Fridays. Another Friday we are doing Blake's, and when we go to Blake's is because the live band usually starts, I think, between 9 p.m. and 10. So it's not as if it's something we go by 6 p.m. and we are coming back by 9 p.m. No, we are going around 9, 10, and we leave sometimes by 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Like, as in, that is when we leave to go. It was so, as in, so many. I remember when I traveled back home after I had my daughter. My dad used to iron my daughter's clothes. Ju, let me help you out. I know that you're tired, you're worn out, just go and rest. The heap of clothes that I kept to iron, my dad would take them and start ironing. At least this one is still very recent. It was just a few years ago. He will be doing it so cheerfully. So cheerfully. That's my dad for you. If I'm going back home now, he's the one that will come to pick me from the airport. If I'm leaving, he's the one that will drop me at the airport. And my dad is over 70. My dad is 74 years today. I mean, and I just want to appreciate him. Daddy, I know you're going to watch this. Thank you for the seeds that you planted in us, your children. Thank you for being a father in every sense of the word. Thank you for imbibing discipline, because my dad was a disciplinarian. He was indeed a disciplinarian, but that training he gave us is what is carrying us today. Thank you for everything you did for us. Thank you for being a role model. My earnest prayer is that God will continue to bless you, God will continue to satisfy you and preserve you in good health. There's one important news I didn't give you guys. I was already working after NYSC. I was already working, like 2-3 years into working. I had my very first heartbreak. I experienced my very first heartbreak, and it was a very difficult time for me because I was hurting. And one morning, my dad just called me. And when he called me, he just asked me, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Are you sure?" I said, he said that he knows that I'm not okay. Did someone hurt me? These were the questions my father was asking me. And at that point, at that moment, I couldn't hide anymore. I couldn't lie anymore. I just broke down and started crying. And he asked me what the matter was, and I told him, and he was like, I should wipe my tears, that I should stop crying, that is it because of this guy, that I should forget about him, that when my own man comes, I'll be happy. He gave me words of encouragement. For him to have felt what I was feeling, man, I just knew that, no, there is more. Honestly, that particular incident, whenever I remember it, he was not aware of anything. He wasn't aware that anything was happening, but he said that he felt it, that he strongly felt it. He felt that I was not okay, and he had to give me a call. And from then, I cheered up, and with time, I forgot about the guy. Anyways, I think I've given you people a little story about my dad. My dad is a graphic artist. My dad learned how to use the computer by himself back in the 90s. He's a graphic designer. My dad does beautiful design. I mean, I'm not even good in graphics. And these are things he learned by himself. My dad is a voracious reader. My dad is a good writer. I mean, when my dad writes for you, hey, all the big vocabularies, all the big words I ever heard in this life, first they were from my dad. Yes, he's a graduate of UNN, he studied geography. So Dad, this is me wishing you a happy birthday. As you clock 74 years on earth today, may the good Lord continue to guide you and protect you. May he preserve you. May he give you more healthy years in Jesus' name. Hip, 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 hooray! So guys, thank you for watching. Please drop a prayer for my dad in the comment section. I would like to read all of them. My father will definitely watch this video and he will read all your comments. So guys, please do this. It would gladden my heart. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, give this video a massive thumbs up. Till I see you next time. Bye.